We are live on YouTube. It's my new sexy voice. Live on YouTube.
We are live, ladies and gentlemen. For $5.99 a minute, you guys can call us at 1-800-THS lives.
Oh, that almost fits.
Yeah. TH lives 1. Just kidding, guys out there. That's not a real number. Don't call it.
Well, actually, if we were still THS live, it'd fit perfectly. 1-800-THS live. How about 1-800-USA fuck?
Fuck.
Yeah.
You can talk your deepest horror fantasies in a dark room.
Brian, Ray, or Jared, even Mike. Award-winning director Mike Lombardo.
That would be actually kind of funny. Like, do a promo like that. Like, all.
What if we did a video? Why don't we do that?
Catch
it do that
this Friday night.
Here we go. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to THS Lives here tonight. My name is Brian Enright. You can follow me on Facebook at Brian Enright. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at The Horror Jew. Up next, we have Jared Letourneau. Jared, good evening.
Good evening.
Hold on.
Oops.
It's that kind of night. See if it's that kind of night, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me. There we go, Jared. You're all good.
Hey, good evening, Brian, and all the boils and ghouls at home. You guys can follow me on Facebook at Jared Letourneau or on Twitter at @zombie_survivor. Should be an interesting night. Have fun.
All right. Thank you very much, Jared. And last but not least, here we have our president and Fuhrer of the Horror Syndicate, Razor. Ray, good evening.
Hey. Man, sorry, that was a big yawn. You ever sneeze and yawn? It doesn't feel great. My name is Ray. You can find me on Instagram, Razor33. Here on Facebook, just look me up. And then I just got Snapchat last night. And it's Razor_33 if you want to Snapchat me some boobies. Back to you, Brian. That's all it's good for, right? Snapchat?
I don't even know how to work it. I was just doing the facial filters, and then I deleted it because I had no idea how it works.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm confused, but I was told to try it, so I'm trying it.
So what's up?
Girl.
So what's up, guys? I haven't talked to you guys all week. You want to talk some horror stuff?
Yeah, if you want.
No, I thought we were going to do romantic comedies because that's what my life is right now.
Oh, shit.
So I don't know if you guys have heard, Vogue released an article today, and they of course, Vogue magazine decided to tell us why horror movies aren't good anymore, why 2018 was a terrible year for horror movies. And it was kind of interesting to see this article arise, especially from a magazine such as Vogue, to do an article on horror movies of 2018. And as I'm pulling up this article, here we go. This is from Bloody Disgusting. They shared it. They said that the title of the Vogue article is "Where Have All the Good Horror Movies Gone?" And basically in the article, the guy trashes the TV show The Haunting of Hill House. He trashes the new Halloween movie. He asks the questions why there hasn't been a good shark movie this year. I mean, if you're asking questions like that, then that automatically puts you in the go fuck yourself column. Don't know exactly why this was happening. But here we have the article up here now. Those who are watching, feel free to join in. I don't know if you have read this article either. The article's actual title is called "Wasn't This Supposed to Be the Golden Age of Horror?" And he asked, do we remember when horror was good? So he says 2017 was a better year. He claimed that movies such as Get Out because the movie Get Out did not win an Oscar, horror movies have gone down a declining slope of production value and entertainment. It's just one of those few things where it says.
Didn't Jordan Peele win Best Director for that?
I think he won original screenplay.
Screenplay or something? I thought it won an Academy Award.
Yeah, and he talks about how Suspiria is not really a horror movie. Suspiria is like a thriller. And he mentions a bunch of other things like how horror movies like such as Quiet Place is not a horror movie, but it's a thriller because it doesn't have the stuff that horror movies have in it that like keep you on the edge of your seat and whatnot. But it's one of those things where you shouldn't have a magazine company such as Vogue tell us what good horror movies are.
Not at all.
It's like saying, Brian, why don't you do a review on Nicholas Sparks' books? I mean, I'm going to say that the teenagers talk too much.
You were right. Best original screenplay, which is better than nothing.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have you seen horror win, Academy Awards? I mean, last time we really had a horror win Academy Awards for all categories was Silence of the Lambs, and I know people out there are still fucking saying it's not a horror movie.
It makes you also wonder how old this person who wrote the article is. Because obviously, like, the golden age of horror has passed us, but it doesn't mean that the future isn't bright for horror.
Yeah, I thought that 2018 was probably the best year of horror we've had in 10 years.
The last few years have been really good, actually. I mean, going back to 2013, I'd say. Brian White says Vogue judging horror is like us writing articles criticizing what people are wearing. That's true.
That's a good point, man.
Who's that? Mike Lombardo?
No, it's Brian White, one of our new writers.
Oh, Brian White.
Review
What's up, Brian?
Yeah, Bloody Ballet, I think was the movie.
Yeah. I gotta check that out.
Good. He said it was good.
Welcome, Brian.
I gotta check that out, Brian White. Bloody Ballet. Now those, I was reading a review, and it kind of seemed like it was like a take on Suspiria, the original Suspiria.
A little bit.
You saw it too, Ray?
I haven't watched it yet, but now we have the ability to, so I think I'm going to. Like, I'll be honest with you, I saw the screener, and then I watched the trailer. Or I mean, I saw the poster, and I was like, oh. And then I saw the because that's what I do when we get the emails for the screeners. I look at the poster, watch the trailer, and I did that with this. And I was like, okay, this one looks like a decent one that might be okay. And I put it up in the group, and Brian was the first one to say he wanted to check it out. So he did, and he said he was surprised by it, which that's always good to hear because like the poster to me looked like Mrs. Claus almost.
Mrs. Claus,
like a Wild Eye release. So not too bad.
Yeah, I noticed that. Do you think it was distro by Wild Eye? Because it looks definitely like a Wild Eye release.
It kind of, I don't know, because we didn't get the email from them, so because we do get emails from them. I'm not sure who distroed it.
I feel like Wild Eye releasing, they like hire like a high school kid, and they're like, "Hey, do you know how to use Adobe Premiere? Well, don't use that. Use Paint." So, I don't know. That's how I feel about their artwork. It's just all the same bullshit. Doesn't really sell. And I only have beef with it because I thought that Stirring was a pretty good. Stirring had a pretty good cover art, and then when Mrs. Claus came out, it just, I don't know.
Yeah, they did kind of.
The guy that does Troy's art is legit because he's used the same guy in all three movies, and the art is usually better than the movie itself. But no, the art's usually really good. And then Wild Eye, that's the thing I'm confused about. Wild Eye kept the art for Party Night, but they changed the art for Stirring and the title, and they recut it. I don't get that. Because Stirring is actually a better movie than Party Night.
Yeah.
So.
What do you say? The art cover is better than the movie? Is that what you said?
Yeah, a little playful jab. Or is it? Or am I serious? I don't know. Anyway. It's no volumes of blood. Let's just put it that
way. my drink coaster.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I had the experience to watch Suspiria, the new movie with Dakota Johnson and Chloe Grace and Tilda Swinton. No, Moretz, yeah. Tilda Swinton played 3 different characters in the movie, and she did one fantastic job doing that.
She's a great character actress.
Yeah, and this is probably the best roles that I've seen her in a long time. The Suspiria was a different take on the movie, where the original, I wrote a review about it. The original movie was more of a slasher movie until the very end, that it became like a horror movie, like kind of like if no one has seen Suspiria, it's kind of a slow burn, but with slashing in it, and kind of like House of the Devil. If anyone's ever seen that movie, where it slow burns till the very end and it gets all crazy. This Suspiria was no different than that. There was just no murders throughout the movie. So if you were looking to see a remake with a Goblin soundtrack and people getting slashed, the new Suspiria does not feature any of that. It's a different take on the movie and the concept, and overall it ends pretty decently. It's just it's one of those movies where you can compare it to The Witch, where the main general public is not going to like it, but there are some of those who actually do enjoy it. My wife and I, were able to see the movie in a theater where there was 5 other people, and they were scattered throughout the theater, and my wife and I had the back row. So the movie is pretty lengthy. It's about 2 hours and 36 minutes long, ballpark.
Jesus.
We got some cool stuff going on in that movie. Jessica Harper makes an appearance in the movie, and it's not like they took her and were like, "Here, stand over here." Oh, good. Nah, she actually plays a pivotal role in the movie, which was a pretty cool time experiencing that. I really like Jessica Harper. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the sequel to a Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's called Shockwave.
Yeah.
Or not Shockwave, Shock Treatment. Shockwave.
Yeah. Shockwave is a Nazi zombie movie.
Actually, there's a movie called Shockwave and then Shockwaves.
Waves.
What's the difference in them?
Well, one's a Nazi zombie movie, and the other one is like a romance movie, maybe. I don't know, because I went to go look for the zombie one, and I found that. I'm like, is this it? I can't tell.
I would be pissed off if I was like, oh, Shockwave. It was 1978 romantic comedy of the year. I can't wait to see this movie. I'll have, a day come over and watch Shockwave, and then we end up watching Shockwaves, the Nazi zombie flick.
Yeah, I think the new one, it's new too. It came out in like 2018 or something.
Peter Cushing was the mad scientist in that movie, wasn't he?
Yep, John Carradine had a small role in it too, so it was like 2 of the 4 original horror icons in the movie.
Yeah. And it kind of has the same ending as the first Friday the 13th, a little bit. Now, I remember Shockwaves. My mother was telling me about it when I was a kid. She was like, oh, there's this movie. I don't know what it's called, but at the end of the movie, the girl gets saved, and she's in a hospital, and she's mute, and she's writing down the whole story, and then at the very end, it shows her, and she's just scribbling. And I was like, I got to check this movie out. And unfortunately, I did. But Shockwaves is one of those movies that holds a key to our hearts here in the horror industry, especially for the cheesy horror movies.
Yeah, it's not great, but it is what it is.
It's kind of like the I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Red Snow, and the second one, Red Snow to the Third Reich or whatever I think it's called.
Red versus Dead.
That's it.
Dead Snow, not Red Snow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're pretty interesting movies.
I never did get to see that.
What's that?
I never did get to see it.
The first one was way better.
It's the first one sat on my steps going upstairs for about 2 years and never watched it. That and the movie Fido.
Fido was pretty cool.
Yeah, I never got
fun.
I just never got around to watching it.
Fido's fun. Nazi zombies should almost have their own subgenre, because there's another one that's called The Outpost. That there was like 2 or 3 of those ones also.
Yeah, I think the new movie Overlord is kind of a knock on Nazi zombies.
Yep, that movie actually looks pretty intense. I think
Yeah, it
J.J.
does.
Abrams behind it.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's obsessed with Phantasm. Anything that man touches turns out to be pretty good. Even like movies like Cloverfield. I really enjoyed Cloverfield, even though everyone I talked to said they hated it.
Well, that's a downfall.
So, do you have any
Not Cloverfield.
comments, Brian, on the new Suspiria?
Do I have any what?
Final comments, like if you like really liked it, or
I thought it was a pretty wild movie. It's not your original movie with the Goblin soundtrack, which everyone knows and loves. Everyone's reviews that I've read currently on like different horror sites either love it or they fucking hate it because it's not like the original, or they say the original sucks and they love this new one. Then it's a total upgrade from the original. And I think that they're two different movies. The same storyline, two different movies. There's not a whole lot of slashing in this, and the soundtrack is fucking awful. They should have never hired Tom York, in my honest opinion. If there's one thing about the movie that I absolutely despise, it was the soundtrack. And it's definitely because of Tom York. I can't stand fucking Radiohead.
so newer generation fans not ever seeing Suspiria, they probably would come out after watching it disappointed, maybe.
Oh yeah, it will definitely get an interaction like The Witch did when it was in theaters. I remember when people saw The Witch and the movie was over, like, what the fuck was this? Wasted my money.
Wasted my money.
But I don't think Suspiria actually had a widespread theatrical release as The Witch did. I think that was something that's been avoided. It wasn't like Halloween, where Halloween was playing in every theater, like showing on 3 screens at a time. But as far as remakes come along, Suspiria is definitely up there. It's top tier. I would say it has a nice little spot right after Evil Dead and Hills of Eyes.
Really, that good?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, like I said, it's not a slasher movie. It is a horror, but it's not a slasher movie. It's more artsy, more dancing. And,
all right, this is going to be tough. Let me do that. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Not compare it to the original, but kind of like, I don't know how to say what I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does it do the original proud, I guess, would be the question.
Does it do the original proud?
Yeah.
This is the thing. It does. Because if you're a fan of Inferno and Mother of Tears, it deeply goes into the backstory of the 3 mothers.
Oh, cool.
And
that's what I want to do.
Yeah, no, it does not.
Mythology.
It does not disappoint, and the ending is different than the original Suspiria, a lot different, but it's good. It's a twist. It's a really fantastic distraction from what the first movie had to offer. Where the first movie was very spooky, and you didn't know what the hell was going on. It had that giallo feel to it. We'll say that. The giallo feel. So we all can agree or agree to disagree. I don't fucking care, but it has a giallo feel to it. And the new one just does not have that. But it does go deep into the story of the 3 mothers and witchcraft and being in a coven. And they don't hide the fact that these women are witches from beginning to the end. They tell you that these women are witches, and it shows you signs of the coven. It shows you signs of Helena Marcos, and it's a pretty decent movie, Ray. I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm curious. I like the original. I'm a bigger fan of Inferno to Suspiria, which I just think Inferno is a better movie.
Mm-hmm.
It goes, like I think I even mentioned that when the trailer was released. About one of the things that I got excited about was seeing the names of the 3 mothers, Suspiriorum and Lacra. How do you say it? It's hard to know.
Tenenbaum.
Lacrimarum, I think is how you say it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tenenbaum. Tanabarum, yeah, it goes into the whole mythology a little bit more, which I really dug, versus Suspiria, and partially probably is because Suspiria could have been just a one-off, and then Argento got to go back and make the rest of the or whatever, because it took him forever to do Mother of Tears, which I like that movie. Most people don't, but I don't know. I'm excited because I don't know if it leaves it for a possible sequel. If we're gonna get another Inferno type movie.
It does leave it for a sequel. I don't think we're gonna get Inferno though.
Interesting. So when you're saying it's artsy fartsy in a way, like we talking like comparable to Black Swan, like how much Aronofsky went into the whole dancing aspect.
It's Black Swan on a mushroom trip. It's there's not a whole lot to think about though when you're watching this. Everything is pretty much explained for you, and the really cool part about the new Suspiria was that it did not tell you that the movie was in 1977 Germany. It showed you that the movie was in 1977 Germany. Like when the girls ventured outside, when there was Tilda Swinton also plays another part of a therapist who is doing like some research into the school, the Helena Marcos School of Dance.
Yeah,
and it's they go into like post-war Germany and how they're trying to rebuild their economy after World War II. And of course, it has like the music of the 70s playing in the background and such. And Tom York's soundtrack is very 70s like at some points, but he's a piece of shit, so the soundtrack sucks. But it goes into a lot of
lazy-eyed piece of shit.
It goes into like the economy, like the German economy throughout the movie, and it also has some flashback moments to World War II in Germany. So they focus heavily on the story being in the area and how the Coven had to survive all throughout World War II, and they had to hide and do all that. I won't spoil the movie for you, but they've been around for a while. And Madame Blanc, who's played by Tilda Swinton, Madame Blanc has a different approach to her character, where the first movie in Suspiria, you knew that there was something wrong with her, but in this one, you definitely really have a liking to her character, and you kind of feel empathy for her.
Yeah, I have to see it. It sucks because I don't think it's playing anywhere close to me.
Mm-hmm.
Me neither.
So it's gonna be. It's probably gonna be till DVD, Blu-ray when I get to see it.
Yeah,
Brian,
and
it asked me how to pronounce the word. The way you're saying it is different from I think the way most people giallo. Like I pronounce it giallo. I think
I call it Gilo.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what it is. Apparently, there's it plural is Gili or Giali.
Gialli.
Yeah,
Gialli.
I call it Gilo.
That might be a more perfect Italian pronunciation.
Yeah, it means yellow.
Giallo.
Gilo.
If you say it that way, it almost sounds like yellow. Giallo,
yeah. Gilo. So I don't know. We'll have to get Ray Cannell on here to tell us the actual pronunciation of it.
God damn, we need to have him back one night, just for old time's sake.
Yeah, he's a good egg.
One night only, Uncle Ray Cannella.
One night only. Dial 1-900 THS live.
Oh, George, you're really into the 1-900 numbers tonight, aren't you?
That'd be pretty funny.
That should be our next ad for our show. Is all of us, acting like we're making love to the camera.
Brian White, that's how you pronounce that? LOL. I've been saying Galo. I like my way back. One of my favorite Gilo movies was directed by Michele Suavi, who did
Cemetery Man.
Cemetery Man. He did Stage Fright, which was called Aquarius internationally, and it was about this theater troupe that were getting ready to put on a show, and then there's like this psychotic killer, kind of like Halloween. The guy breaks out of a mental institution, and he makes his way to the area where lots of people are dwelling. And he has an owl mask that he wears, and he slashes the dancers and the actors and everyone that's involved. He locks down the entire theater. That's probably one of my favorite Gilo films. Maybe if that's not considered one, because at this point I don't give a shit.
It is in a way, but I mean, when you think about it, Giallo's completely ushered in the slasher genre because. Those movies precursored Halloween. Those movies precursored Friday the 13th. And it's always a masked man or a man in black that you can't see just randomly killing people.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that I thought was that's why I thought, well, obviously I'm wrong that Suspiria, the original one's a Gilo, because I thought that it was about a killer throughout the entire movie, and in the end you get the witches, but I'm obviously wrong. But
it is stylistically in tone like a Giallo at the time. Yeah. For sure.
But you have movies like Tenebra, which was like fucking cool.
That one is a Giallo. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, most definitely. And they have the scene, the one flowing shot, the one continuous shot in Tenebra where it plays the theme song. And the two girls get murdered. That was a pretty fucking awesome moment. And
Giallo. See,
you hear it?
He's getting the translation. What?
That's the translation for it.
Play it again.
Giallo.
Giallo.
I'm saying Giallo.
Giallo.
Giallo. Yeah. So okay. So it is Giallo.
I'm gonna still say Giallo because I don't care.
I also liked, of course, Deep Red. Deep Red's a classic.
Oh shit! Yeah, it took me a little bit to get into Deep Red. I like Jared. It came highly recommended by him, so I bought the DVD, Blue Underground DVD, and I watched it. I'm like, this doesn't feel like a horror movie at all. And he's like, oh, it's a Giallo. I'm like, what is that? And after watching it again, I'm like, okay, I get it. I understand now. So, at first I didn't. I was pretty pissed. I was like, I wasted money on this movie. It's not even a horror movie. Thanks a lot, Jared.
Yeah. And for those that are watching that aren't really sure what we're talking about, Giallo is a subgenre of Italian horror. And it's, it encompasses mystery and suspense and horror all within the same idea.
Yeah.
You know what drives me crazy? That fact that if you go on Google to search the term like Giallo and see what movies are under that subgenre, you get Suspiria, you get Tenebra, and you get Dress to Kill, which Dress to Kill is not at all Italian produced, and that's like the whole point of the Giallo is supposed to be Italian produced, and it's a Brian De Palma movie made in Hollywood. So I don't understand why that would be in the same category.
That is very odd.
It's extremely fucking odd, but I learned a lot about myself this week. Oh, Suspiria, Giallo, and how wrong I am for it. So I had to do my research
for that.
What's that?
I said you're going straight to hell for that, but you're Jewish, so never mind.
Yeah. So I'm going straight somewhere. Maybe it'll send me to Israel.
I wouldn't say you were totally wrong. It's just there's Italian horror purists out there that get butthurt just like any other horror purists.
It's like if I was a Vogue writer or a writer for Vogue and I said that horror movies were dying out.
I just post-horror.
Post-horror.
Fuckers.
That's what it is.
The person that wrote that fucking article is probably 22 years old and hasn't seen fucking shit.
Yep.
Who did the original post horror? Well, who was that?
I don't know. I don't remember what website it was from, but it was one of the dumbest things I've ever read or heard of.
Mhm.
I want to say it was Bloody Disgusting that did it first.
No, it was a more not. It wasn't a horror site.
It was more mainstream.
Yeah, it was definitely more mainstream.
Because I remember everybody got really butthurt about that, and we had a few stinks to raise about that as well.
That's dumb. That's dumb. There's not horror movies, but there are post horror movies. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
It's like
Horror. That's post horror.
that means
like-
horror's dead, so everything's post horror. Like
it's like
okay.
saying Silence of the Lambs is a thriller, not a horror movie.
But no, that's post horror.
Yeah, the whole post horror thing sucks. I feel like we discuss this last year on the
We
horror.
did. It went away really fast too.
It did, didn't it? Because we really haven't heard much from it.
Like almost immediately.
Mhm.
Almost as fast as that Suspiria. Or I mean that horror thing from Vogue.
Yeah, dude.
Didn't you say they took that down?
I thought they did, but then they put it back up because people were liking my comment where I told them that they should not cover horror movies anymore. So I haven't seen anything lately from that, but
The closest thing to horror that's Vogue is Madonna's video.
yeah, like I don't know why they would have magazines such as Vogue cover horror movies. It's not like
I don't. I mean, I'm not
Probably
gonna
do.
shit they cover, but I mean, maybe they're more of a pop culture magazine, not just fashion anymore.
Well, what if they do and it just falls under the radar? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe they do cover horror, but nobody ever sees it. And this one struck a chord or something.
That's
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I mean, when they're not covering situations like Nicole Kidman and her children in Scientology, I guess they're talking about horror movies that were awful in 2018. I don't know. I think 2018 has been the best year of horror so far. We had a sequel, we had a reboot, and both have been getting critically appraised. Like, how long has it been since you heard something like that come out?
I mean, this has been a good year for horror, I think, just as last year was.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I think these people are crackpots, really.
Yeah.
Lower budget films like Summer of '84 that just kind of snips under the radar and was actually a really fucking good movie.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that bothered me about this Vogue article was that at one point the editor said, "Yes, I even watch low budget indie movies sometimes," and I'm like,
It's like a slap in the face, man.
"Yeah, it's like what if a movie can only be specified as horror if it's over a certain budget or over like a release."
And anybody who likes horror movies knows that's fucking bullshit because people have been putting low budget bullshit out for fucking years. But it only feels like recently that these movies are actually made by people who give a shit about making movies. They just don't have the money to do it.
Yeah. And I've heard people say, "Oh, John Carpenter's The Thing was a pretty good movie for a low budget." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I feel like some people just talk out of their ass.
They do. Most people are talking out there. I've talked about that quite a bit, actually. They're up their own ass. Remember, I think most people are up their own ass.
Yeah. People need to stop being up their own ass.
Yeah. I know way too many people up their own ass.
Yeah, so
So since we're talking about 2018 and how it sucks in horror apparently, but to some people, just a random question. I know we've still got a month and a half left. What's your top 2, top 3 horror movies of this year?
okay.
Take,
Well,
take your time.
the horror movies that I have seen, I would have to say that Mandy is probably number one.
I still haven't seen Mandy yet.
I still see that.
Number two would probably either be Halloween. 3 would be Suspiria. 4 would be Summer of '84, and 5 would be The Ranger.
Ranger, really?
Yeah, The Ranger is a pretty good movie.
All right, so the movie, A Quiet Place was really good to me. I liked it. Halloween, of course, was good. My
And they don't
lord, I
necessarily
have
have
not
to
seen many.
Yeah.
Slender Man was off the chain.
Is that good or bad?
Down a Dark Hall was wonderful. No, I've never seen it. Slender Man. I haven't seen many this year because I still haven't seen Hereditary.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Strangers Pray at Night. I haven't seen The Nun.
Ah,
I
shit.
didn't see the new
Okay.
Predator. I don't go to the movies very often.
Brian,
Most of the stuff I see,
Hereditary, did you?
I forgot about Hereditary. Hereditary is
Yeah.
definitely number.
You
Yeah,
can't go
Hereditary is
back
number
now.
2.
You can't go back now.
I gotta go back. I
I
completely forgot
think
about
I'm gonna buy Mandy. I saw it because it's only $15 at Walmart on Blu-ray. Summer of '84 was good, and that's about it, man. I've only seen a handful of horror movies that came out this year. I'm looking at them, and I mean that are like theatrical release type horror movies. I've seen independent horror movies that they've released this year,
Mm.
but because screeners.
Yeah.
Never
No,
Hike Alone. Was that this year? There you go. That's my favorite of the year. Never Hike Alone.
I gotta put Hereditary back on that list.
Yeah, you can. I'll let it. I'll let it.
Well, yeah, that one I'm just gonna buy because I'm almost guaranteeing it's gonna be like $5 or $6 on Black Friday. So I
Yeah.
plan on buying it then and then watching it because
So I think I already have 3 or 4 that make my list because
yeah,
I haven't seen like Predator and haven't seen some of those.
somebody said they enjoyed the Puppet Master movie.
The Littlest Reich. So I would say my favorite movie of the year so far is probably Summer of '84. I'm a little biased by that one. I loved it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Hereditary is a close second because that movie is so much more than you're expecting when you fucking get into it. Like that movie is emotional, it's chilling, and it's fucking kind of scary.
Yeah. Make me think twice before I drive down a desert with my windows open.
No shit, dude.
Can I just say something while we're talking about what you just said? Somebody, I don't think that's a horror movie.
What?
Summer of '84.
I mean,
I'm not going to classify that as I can't classify that as a horror movie at all.
maybe in
It's a history movie.
But I mean, it's like an Alfred Hitchcock movie, and those are
It's like a
considered.
giallo.
I mean, it feels like Rear Window. It feels like the old style Alfred Hitchcock films.
Yeah.
Meets Monster Squad.
Yeah. And that's why it's like I was watching it and the whole time thinking, this just doesn't feel horror to me.
Halloween is it's probably within my top 5 right now just because I haven't seen some of those other ones. But there's another one that I saw recently called Incident in a Ghostland that is really fucking crazy. It starts off like a pure like home invasion film, but then it just turns into something completely different.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so I'll add that out there. Anybody who hasn't heard of it, it's called Incident in a Ghostland. And obviously Overlord looks pretty cool too, because that apparently is labeled as a horror film, and that hasn't been released yet.
Not to like piss on your parade or whatever about Summer of '84, but just like even when we were watching it that one night, I was like, "This is good." Doesn't feel like a horror movie at all. But
you weren't feeling it.
No, I liked it. I wasn't feeling a horror vibe,
and
I just looked it up, and it's not classified as a horror movie at all.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. It's just like the crazy last fucking 20 minutes of the movie is what feels like the horror experience.
Yeah.
That movie sat with me for a long time after we watched it that first night.
Like, I don't think it was good, but I don't think it had any kind of effect on me, like at all. As odd as that may sound.
That's fair.
Yeah, it was good, but it's not like it's like, oh my god, that happened. It didn't really do as much, especially as for Brian, because Brian that killed the whole movie for him. The ending.
Brian flipped out.
What?
Yeah.
After the end of Summer of '84, you flipped out.
It took me a moment to process. it was it was hard to process in the beginning because Summer of '84 was that movie when you watch, you're like, oh, I've been here before. I've seen these kids. I've been in these type of friendships before. I've watched this movie multiple times after school. And then the ending comes along, and you're just like, fuck, I'm depressed. Did all that just happen?
See, it didn't do that to me.
It didn't do that to you?
No, not at all. It was I don't know. Movies must not like get to me like they do other people, because that movie it was a good movie, but it didn't do like anything for me at all. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't feel any emotion at the end. I was like, all right, whatever. It was a twist, but it didn't like hit me. Maybe I'm emotionally turned off or something like that. And while you were gone, I was telling Jared how it's to me, and it's not even classified as a horror movie. I didn't feel anything horror about it at all. It was a good movie overall, but
yeah, it was.
It was also, other than that last part, it was almost the other thing I liked. Again, I liked it, but it was like it felt like it was almost by the numbers. Some of the shit that was happening, I don't know.
I could see.
The more I think about it now,
I could see
it's yeah.
It tried to throw in all the specific '80s tropes that
Yeah, it did, and just like Brian said, I've seen this movie before, but that one part at the end is the only shocker, and again, it didn't do anything for me. So
that's fair.
Yeah, it was almost like watching the Goonies, but the Goonies never make it out from the sewers. But even spoiler alert, actually, not even a spoiler. Goonies don't die, but
Goonies never die.
Yeah.
Never say die.
So
Good enough for you is
I listened to that today.
I listen to it every day. Where you guys?
Goonies are good enough.
Have you ever seen a music video? I think Roseanne Barr is in it.
There's two of them.
What?
There's two versions of it. The Goonies Are Good Enough by Cyndi Lauper. There's two versions of it. There's part one and part two.
I saw the one where she's like battling pirates.
Yeah, that's the first part. There's also a second part. Or I mean, no, that's the second part. There's also a first part where she her dad runs a used car lot or something like that, and all these pro wrestlers come to visit, and it's like they're losing it or something. That's why she has to find the treasure. Yeah.
What's up, Cindy? Step into a Slim Jim.
Well, no, it's like the Iron Sheik, and it's not Randy Savage. It's a bunch of those old '80s wrestlers that wrestled with the Hulkster back.
Yeah.
I'm sure Randy Savage did too at one point, but
I know we're totally off topic right now, but there was a song that never got released called 8 Arms to Hold You. That was for the Goonies, but they cut that song out because they cut the octopus scene out at the end of the movie. And it's actually...
but they kept Data's line. The octopus was very scary. So what is he talking about?
Yeah, he's like, octopus was very scary. Like, what the hell is he even talking about?
So what's this octopus scene? I've never heard of it.
At the end...
It was cut. It's only in the Disney cut.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all. It was only there was a cut that Disney has, and it was only in that cut.
Yeah, and when they find the pirate ship at the very end, an octopus comes out of the water and like grabs a couple of them. But apparently the octopus did not look believable and it looks shitty, so they just cut that entire scene out.
There is an octopus.
Yeah.
And it was very, very scary.
Very scary. Then when you watch the movie, you just chalk it up as Data's imagination just running wild.
Yeah.
Octopus was very scary.
Now,
James Bond 007.
Goonies octopus scene. Get out of here.
If you ever watched the Goonies on the Disney Channel back in the day, it was in on that. Because I saw it, and I'm like, oh, there's the octopus.
They might even have a scene of it on the Blu-ray or something.
They have it on YouTube.
I don't think the Blu-ray has it because I have the Blu-ray.
But they have a song.
Got to be one of my all-time favorites.
Arms to hold you in my heart.
Ron Buchanan says, "Summer of '84 gets you at your core. I must be dead inside then." It was good. people in their core because it didn't do any of that for me. It was just that.
Tickled me in the boo boo at the end.
Oh my god, I have seen this scene before.
That was
That's
me because
wild. Yeah, the octopus doesn't even make any sense.
Let me tell you. For my imagination as a kid, when I said octopus, I thought they were talking about the slide as the octopus because it was all different, going off different ways, like different arms of the octopus. That was my thought process on that, but clearly I was wrong because there was a real octopus in the movie at one point.
Yeah, that's weird. I've seen it before. I just watched the scene. It's not that long. The octopus is only in it. It has a cameo in it. Definitely makes sense why they would cut it out because there's no talk about an octopus throughout the entire movie.
Data mentions that at the end. That's it.
Yeah, that's about it. But I was thinking, when I watched the ending and he's talking about an octopus, I'm just like, you lying sack of shit. So didn't really think much of it.
Octopus? Pirate ship?
Like, shut up, Data. You're lying again.
Yeah. Data was a compulsive
Data's
liar.
only knocked over the fucking chip bowl and busted the penis, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Wouldn't be there if it wasn't.
We all pissing in our faces.
God made you like that, you all be pissing in your faces. I know that movie probably better than almost any other movie I have.
We have some comments on Facebook.
So many times. And it's better than Monster Squad, just saying.
Get out of here. Nothing's better than Monster Squad. Monster Squad's the best fucking movie ever.
I also say it's better than Monster Squad, and I fucking love it.
No, get out of here. You're all lying. Brian White says, didn't the guy from Vogue make the distinction between thriller and horror as horror having comedic elements sewn into it? Yeah, he did. He did, and he still doesn't know what horror is. And then he said that Halloween and Dudes, I really like Terrifier. Terrifier was a pretty good slasher this year.
It was okay.
Jake Salto said Hereditary and A Quiet Place. What's that?
It had some good kills in it.
Yeah, that's about all it's good for. Terrifiers did not have a plot whatsoever.
David Howard Thornton played his character very well, though.
Yeah, he was very good. That's about it. Otherwise, the movie is kind of a boring ass movie, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, without Art the Clown, we talked about. I think I was pretty drunk, and I said the movie would have been awful if Art wasn't in it.
Just a bit. You were a bit drunk.
But Ron Buchanan said Summer '84 gets you at your core. The scariest scene of a non-horror movie for me as a child was the Swamp Witch from Legend.
Oh,
1985. That's one Tim Curry, I think.
Yeah, seeing Tim Curry as the demon at the end was pretty fucking scary if you were a little kid.
How long was he in the movie for? Not that long, right? They talk about him like most of the movie, but he only shows up for like 10 minutes.
I'm not gonna pretend I've seen that movie in 20 years, so I have.
Yeah, that's my thought process too. I can't remember the last time I saw it.
It's funny.
I remember that, but I don't remember. It didn't have a profound effect on me. I don't know. I
just don't want to watch Tom Cruise movies anymore. I don't want to pay to see a Tom Cruise movie. I don't support Scientology, and that's why I will never see a Tom Cruise movie or a John Travolta movie ever again.
I heard Mission Impossible was pretty decent.
I heard it was too, but I'm not going to see it.
Oh,
I'll see it because I don't care about religion. So
it's not even religion. It's like all religions are a cult, but this one's just a straight cult. That's a real horror story I won't get into because I might be labeled as a suppressive person if I talk about it.
Yeah.
And this is not the platform for it.
No, not at all. We don't even talk politics on this show. Maybe it slips out a few times.
It does.
Yeah.
When it comes to politics, I just generally keep my mouth shut because I got some people on my Facebook page who are straight up against what I believe. So, and it's not worth arguing with Republicans about. So, excuse me.
Oops.
No, I hear you, and here at the Horror Syndicate, we just talk about horror movies and themes, and and stuff like that.
And sometimes we talk Goonies.
So I don't know. What do you guys
I
think?
remember the opening of Goonies scared some kids that I was babysitting one time that they told their mother because it showed a skull and crossbones. I was pissed. I lost my babysitting gig because of the fucking scroll, like in the O and one of the O's or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dick Donner. Make it a little spooky.
Like the movie hadn't even started.
Yeah, the movie literally hadn't started, and I was so pissed. Richard Donner. Stick to Superman.
Oh yeah. His cut was actually the best one.
Superman
2?
Yeah.
I still have yet to see it. I have it on DVD. It's looking right at me.
It's not bad. The only thing I don't like about it is it's continuity errors.
Mm-hmm.
Not errors, but like you can tell like Christopher Reeve's hair is too short in some places or something. It's just stupid things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you watch the movie, what's the movie with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg where they're cops?
Nice Guys or something like that.
Yeah, Good Guys or Nice Guys.
Yeah.
In that movie, Mark Wahlberg has 2 different hairstyles, and the continuity is all fucked up. If you guys watch it, you'll see it.
Yeah, that stuff bothers me. Maybe it shouldn't bother me as much, but it does.
I think Nice Guys is the one Shane Black directed that.
Yeah. This is I'll find out what it is. Stupid.
I think it's something along those lines, though. I've never seen it because I'm not a big Will Ferrell guy. So I'm just letting it all out tonight. I don't like Will Ferrell. I don't care if kids get killed in movies, apparently. What else?
The Other Guys. It's called The Other Guys.
The other guy. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Because they kill the Rock off at the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah, aim for the bushes. They jump right into the sidewalk.
And now where the Rock is in every single movie known to man.
Yeah, you know what would make a great Netflix series? Like the World Wrestling Federation. I'm not talking about like today. I'm talking about like from 1985 to 1998. Like they made an entire Netflix series based on those years. That would kick ass.
Why those years?
Those were the golden years.
They have to go back further than 85.
Do they go back further than 85?
Yeah, like some of the earlier stuff in the really early 80s was really good, but it was, because all that stuff with Andy Kaufman happened.
Oh, yeah. In late 80s.
Yeah, those were late 70s, early 80s, but yeah, and with Jerry Lawler, and that's when wrestling was cool. It stopped being cool in the 90s, if you ask me.
Yeah, there was a while. Well, I thought wrestling stopped being cool after they took the F out for the World Wildlife Foundation.
Well, that was in the 2000s.
Yeah, that
I was working at Toys R Us, and we had to pull all the WWF stuff off the shelf when they did that because they had to repackage it all. Yeah, actually,
I got
what?
I got nothing on that, guys.
Well, Jared was talking about, we were talking about he used to do a segment called Bloody Streaming Roulette back in the day. And it's just streaming horror on Netflix and Hulu and stuff. And he was going to divulge a few of his favorites and not favorites since we didn't have much to talk about tonight.
Yeah. And for anybody new watching the podcast that didn't watch us, I wrote this in like 2016 and 2017. I wrote a bunch of articles, and like Ray was saying, it's basically like a blind shot, just randomly pick a film and we all have movies on our Netflix list and on our Hulu list that we want to watch, but you can't decide because you got fucking 30 of them to watch. Just fucking pick one and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So should I start with the good or the bad? Because I'm not going to do the bad first.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm not going to go into really long details about these movies, but I'll just kind of give you a brief run through. One of my first ones on the bad list is a movie called Abattoir that was directed by Darren Lynn Bousman, who did like 3 of the Saw movies. It was a really weird, kind of a ghost movie where like the house would rotate and would move depending on what happened to the person who was in the house. Like it was just too all over the place, basically. Like I'm not going to be able to describe these movies word for word because I haven't watched some of these in a while. But another one of my bad ones is called Jinn, like the genie, DJINN.
Yeah, I remember that one.
It was set in, I want to say Dubai, and it's like set in this really beautiful hotel, and it's like this family after they experienced a terrible loss, and that movie was all over the place too. But the real reason that it was bad to me, unfortunately, it was Toby Hooper's last film before he died.
Got you.
Was it?
Yeah. And I was very surprised that he had directed it because it was a piece of shit.
Well, all his movies are gems anyway.
Yeah.
Just because he made a couple of good horror movies doesn't mean he's the best director ever.
What was the last good movie he made though?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No, part 2.
There's another one.
Question.
I stayed up late at night and watched this one with a friend. It's called #Horror, and it's probably my least likable film out of all of the ones I reviewed for Bloody Streaming Roulette. It's like Mean Girls meets a slasher, but it's fucking pointless. It's like these.
Is it kind of playing like on that Unfriended movie almost a little bit?
In a way, because they show lots of like texting things. They all text each other throughout the movie, and Chloe Sevigny's in it. Yeah, that movie's garbage. The next couple might cause a couple of controversies, but David Cronenberg's first film, Shivers, I was able to catch on maybe Hulu.
That sounds probably right.
It's really not that good. We all love David Cronenberg movies, but that Shivers is really not that good, and I would say pass it.
Shivers is the one where the people have that bacteria that turns into sex addicted fiends.
Yep, it's like an STD type thing, and it just makes them like sex crazed monsters.
That's with Lynn Lowry, right? She was
Yep.
Yeah,
and it's almost like the play on. I think James Gunn kind of used that idea a little bit in Slither because these slugs come out of their mouths and they like pass slugs on to each other, and
yeah,
I think he kind of stole that idea a little bit from Shivers.
Yeah.
I just wasn't a fan of it.
No, I didn't really care for it either.
But the main one that I think might cause a little bit of a stir is The Devil's Candy.
Oh, man.
Yep. I know you liked it, Brian.
I loved it.
It just didn't do anything for me, and that was one of the ones I wanted to really like. It didn't do anything for me.
Maybe you're like me and Dead Inside.
I think it was the reason why I really enjoyed it was because I pictured myself in Ethan Embry's character, like being a father, being a cool dad who does like music and art, and raising a daughter who's into that same stuff that her father's into, like all like death metal and art. And I kind of pictured myself as his character, and then him fighting for his daughter's life. So I think that's why I really enjoyed it. But it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I don't feel anything with some of these movies, because I don't try to relate to the characters. I just, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't either.
Louis Creed, when Gage dies, Gage dying never really hit me.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't relate, even as a father. It doesn't really do much for me. It's like, oh, it sucks, but
you do have a point, though, Ray. Some people, when they sit in a movie, they totally submerge themselves.
Yeah, I don't do that. I actually take myself away from my own personal feelings in life when I watch a movie, because I don't want to try to relate to people in horror movies. And I can't relate to anybody in Star Wars, so.
But we all want to relate ourselves to Uncle Frank from Hellraiser.
I don't want to relate myself to Uncle Frank. He's disgusting. Brian, I don't even know what to think of you now.
He's got skin problems too. I mean, come on.
Yeah. He's got the ultimate skin problem.
Yeah. But I do have a couple of suggestions for the good side of BSR. One of them is kind of an odd one that I don't think any of you guys have ever heard of. It's from Mexico from 2015. It's called The Similars. And I don't know if it's still on Netflix anymore, but it totally plays like a Twilight Zone episode. Where it's like a rainy night in 1960, whatever, and it's at a bus stop. And all these people kind of...
shit goes down at bus stops.
Yeah, and they all converge into one location. But throughout the film, they all start to change. And they all start to look like each other. And by the end of the movie, it's like they're all the same person talking to each other. And it's fucking weird. It is really weird. I mean, it is a horror movie, but I mean, it feels like a Twilight Zone episode. That one is a sure check out if you like.
What's the one called?
The Similars.
Go figure. Clever title. It's like the shitty Beatles.
Another one I liked for all you werewolf fans out there was Late Phases. I don't know if you've seen that one. It has the guy.
I've never seen it. That's one of your earlier reviews, isn't it?
Yeah. It had the guy from Stakeland and Stakeland 2 in it as the retired Army vet that moves into a neighborhood that it's like a retirement community that has a bunch of random deaths, and he finds out it's a fucking werewolf. And
is that the one that's directed by David Hayter?
I don't know.
The guy who voiced Solid Snake and Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, that I don't know.
I'll have to look that up.
Okay, so that one. Another one is a film from Turkey called
my favorite food for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, called Baskin. And I was actually able to pick up a Blu-ray copy from the Severin table at Horror Hound.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Baskin is a fucking crazy ass fucking movie.
I'm looking forward to the sequel.
Oh my god! Like, it's a group of cops and they chase a car down into the wrong side of the town, and they go into this old church or an old building, and it's like once they go inside, it's like the fucking nightmares you don't want to remember. Like, it's fucking intense.
Yeah, I was watching a little bit of that movie, and I watched the first 15 minutes of the movie where they're like really rude and disrespectful to the restaurant owners.
And you turned it off?
Baskin.
Baskin Robbins?
Baskin Robbins?
Yeah.
31 flavors. Maybe 32.
But yeah, that's the same movie, right?
Yeah, because I think they all are bullshitting before they go on the call and then chase some bad guys. Yeah, I think. But I mean, it is in subtitles, so I mean, you have to follow that too. Another one Ray actually liked that stars Barbara Crampton, Beyond the Gates.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Have you seen that one, Brian?
I did. I didn't care for it.
You didn't care for it. Brian's
I like it because I was able to relate to all the characters.
Yeah. Brian's a little young, so he probably doesn't remember those VHS games.
Those games were weird. Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah.
That was some weird stuff.
You know what?
I had friends that did Vampire the Masquerade parties on the weekends.
See, the thing is that like the movie presented itself as like a very like synthwave 80s retro movie, and we really didn't get that until the very end. So
yeah. It was kind of slow, I'll give you that, but once they started playing the game and it started to progress, that's when it started picking up.
Yeah.
And the last one, it's also kind of a little bit of an obscure one called Fear Incorporated.
I like that one.
Stars Lucas Neff from Raising Hope, and it's kind of like you can call up a company and they can like create a horror experience for you and your friends, and it's supposed to be,
like personal experience too, like just for you. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, so all the seasons of Friends.
It was like, there was lots of horror movie references. Like he's like a huge horror fan, so he's like really into it, and it kind of takes a twist, obviously as those movies do. But that one actually surprised the fuck out of me when I saw it.
Yeah, me too. I bought that. I blind bought it really, and turned out I really liked it.
But if anybody's out there watching, like, I've been debating on bringing back Bloody Streaming Roulette because it's, something I really liked doing. But then I, started doing screener reviews and started getting more important movies to review. But like, if anybody thinks that's a cool idea that we should continue doing for the website, just let us know, because I wouldn't mind jumping back into it, because people like us, random recommendations, sometimes will get you to find a movie you would never fucking watch otherwise.
Yeah.
So
I think it's cool. I mean, it didn't pick up very much like in the beginning, but our follower base is way bigger now.
It is.
So that, it may be different this time around.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool to always be able to find shit on Netflix or Hulu. Hulu, oddly enough, has a lot of pretty decent horror section. And then there's always Shudder, which if you get Shudder, there's Shudder is amazing.
Yeah, I have that hooked up to my my mini projector in the bedroom. We watch movies on our wall. It's about they give us about 50 inches of projection, so it's pretty cool. We watch
bedroom.
Yeah, we have it in our bedroom. We watched Reanimator the other night.
Did you watch The Last Drive-In, or did you watch the regular?
Of what? The Reanimator?
Yeah, The Last Drive-In hosted by Joe Bob was awesome.
No, I didn't watch that one. We watched The Last Drive-In of Pieces.
Yeah.
That one was pretty funny. Joe Bob's I didn't grow up with him on Up All Night. So
he was Monster Vision.
Yeah, he was Monster Vision.
He was Monster Vision.
Yeah, Up All Night was Rhonda and Gilbert Gottfried.
Got it. Yeah, no, that shows you how much I watched it. So it was really cool seeing the way that he talks to the viewer, and I guess he was the same way with Monster Vision.
Yeah, where he does these, random interludes after commercial breaks or.
But he's got all kinds of good information though, and funny stories. Where, like, I'm excited about on the 22nd. They're doing 4 more on Shudder, and I'll be watching those for sure. I have no idea what the movies are because he just announced it the other day. But they're doing a Thanksgiving Dusk Till Dawn.
Shudder's not on the PlayStation app, is it?
No, it's not. You have to get the Roku
or
Xbox.
Yeah, it's on Xbox. So.
God damn.
Yeah. But if you have Amazon Prime, you can also watch it on there too.
Don't do that. They're losing. They're don't do that. It's not as they're losing it because I'm on that right now, and their selection has gotten so small on Amazon Prime, and they're taking away some of the features. I wouldn't. It's not worth it. I would just go to Shudder and hook up your laptop to your TV or something.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, because I did the same thing because you could use your Amazon app if you have a smart TV, but
yeah,
something's going on with it now.
If you have a Chromecast, which is what we use, we link up our phones to the Chromecast.
Yeah, and I think any horror fan, and we don't make money off of it, but Shudder is a must.
Yes, it's only $5 a month.
Yeah, it's better than Screambox.
Better than Netflix.
I don't even know if Screambox still exists, but it's better than that.
Oh, I get emails from them all the time asking me to come back, and that they'll take off like 25% for my year. I'm like, no, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
Yeah, right. They screwed over our boy Ray Canella. I'm not supporting them.
Nope.
Well, it really is a pain in my ass because I watch pretty much everything through my PlayStation. So
Yeah, and it's funny thing. I think Screambox is on PlayStation.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you don't want to mess with that noise. Well, maybe you do. I don't know.
maybe we should start like an email chain or like a signature chain to get Shutter through the fucking PlayStation network.
I think they're working on it.
I have emailed Shutter before because if you noticed, Exorcist 3, it's Exorcist 3 with the Scream Factory art cover.
Mm.
And when I saw it, I thought it was a director's cut, which is what Scream Factory sells. And it wasn't. So I wrote them an email. I'm like, change your art cover. And they're like, all right, we will work on this. And they never did.
Makes me wonder if like they actually pay for their art or if they, you know what I'm saying, like
Steal.
just take stuff off the internet like we do.
Yeah.
Because
you guys,
I know you can pay for that stuff.
if you guys have Shudder, I highly recommend watching the movie Ghost Watch.
What's that one? I think I've heard of that.
Ghost Watch is is found cam footage
Okay.
from like the late 80s, and it was like the movie that inspired Blair Witch Project.
Oh yeah. I've heard of that. I remember. Yeah, go ahead.
That movie is a great slow burn, and the ending just absolutely pays off. And you have to it's that movie that you have to keep watching in the corner of the room to see something scary until the very end when it leads up to everything. I'm not going to ruin anything for you, but if you have Shudder, go watch the movie Ghost Watch. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think Jared, maybe you should do, if you want to get into the Shudder game, maybe do some kind of exclusive Shudder BSRs.
Mm-hmm.
If you get into it. Because like
3 years since I've done it, and there's a lot more content has come out since then. So I mean, it's definitely.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say Shudder's also got a good selection of foreign horror movies, like a couple of the Fulci movies are on there. I know The Beyond's on there, and City of the Living Dead and Zombie, I believe, are all on there. I'm not 100% sure. I was gonna say I think Suspiria's on. I'm almost certain Deep Red's on there because that's public domain.
Yeah.
I think Shudder's totally worth it. Anybody who hasn't signed up for it yet. Brian White agrees, Jared. Shudder needs to release an app for PS4 ASAP. Stacy Davis says it's great. But yeah, I wonder if I could email them to see if there's something we can do, like some kind of partnership. I doubt it, but it would be cool. Explore some kind of like Jared do a review on Shudder, and I don't know. Probably not. We're probably too low for them.
Yeah.
We're no bloody disgusting.
We can still flood their fucking emails with "Give us fucking PlayStation."
Let's fucking Andy Dufresne them. Okay. So, do you want to do a quick mail call and then we'll wrap it up for the night?
Mail call.
Yeah.
Mail day.
I don't have
said his mail call consisted of seeing Suspiria, right?
I don't have any mail, but I did see Suspiria, directed by Luca Guadagnino. If you're going to see a movie this year, I definitely would check it out. Suspiria. It may not be in theaters near you, but hopefully it will be available on VOD soon.
So that's Brian's seal of approval. See it any way you can, kids, except for illegally online. Don't do that. Don't be that dick.
That is a no-no.
That is a no-no. Okay, I'll go first. I think Ray's got a few more than I do.
I do, but I'm going off of like my October, basically.
Yeah. I'd say this is my mail for the last 2 weeks, probably. I don't really order too much anymore, but I was able to find a Lucio Fulci through 88 Films called Touch of Death. It's one of his later films, one of his last ones. Beautiful looking. It's got a lot of good death scenes in it.
Is that Vinegar Syndrome?
It's 88 Films.
Okay.
They usually do a lot of Region 2 stuff, but this one is...
he didn't ask how many, he said. Never mind.
Huh?
Yeah, I said he didn't ask how many. Never mind, it was a dumb joke.
This one actually came in the mail today that I'm pretty fucking stoked about it. You can catch it free on YouTube, but I suggest you try to buy it on Blu-ray if you can. That is Vincent DeSantis' Never Hike Alone in this beautiful red Blu-ray case.
I like that it's solid red. Not to interrupt, I'm just going to throw, I got that also.
Yeah.
And I love how the case is solid red, not like, you know how Blu-rays are see-through.
Kind of clear.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is completely solid. Yeah.
Ray and I met Andrew and Vincent at Horror Hound, so I mean, this is, very good pickup for any, fans of Friday the 13th in general. Like, if you can't find it on Blu-ray, it's free to watch on YouTube, and it's fucking worth it. Last one absolutely. I have is one I haven't seen yet. It's called Bloodfest. And it's, from what I gather, it's like they go to a big rave party celebrating, iconic horror movies, only to discover that the showman or the guy that's leading the party has brought horror icons to the party to kill them. It's kind of like a horror comedy, basically. So, I mean, these psycho killers come to the party. So that one looks interesting. That actually might be a review I do in the near future.
I hope so.
But that's all I got.
Okay, so I went to Family Video. This is not all mail, but actually only a little. I was able to find a copy for $2. The new Children of the Corn. Runaway. I got. I like this movie, Burying the Axe. With Anton Yelchin. Good movie. And then A Happy Death Day for $5, $4, something like that. I like it. Some people don't like it. I don't care.
I liked it.
My brother-in-law took vacation the last week of October, and he went to Vintage Stock and came back with these for me.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm pretty happy about that because I already have the Mummy, so I'm only missing the other two because I keep talking about buying the new set, but I really like the way these look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he went ahead and bought them for me. What's that?
They look nice standalone, but yeah, they're just in.
So I'm pretty happy about it. But then this is all through October, so give me a minute. I went to Best Buy and they had the Sugar Skull Jennifer's Body, which I didn't like when I first saw it, but I watched it again and I thought it was fun.
Is that a steel box?
That's a steel book, yeah. It's pretty cool.
That movie's actually kind of underrated.
Yeah, I think it is. It was a lot more fun than I remember it. I got the remake of Hills Have Eyes, which is awesome. That's Brian approved, right?
Yes, it is Brian approved.
Yeah, I love the case. Some people don't like the Sugar Skull. I like them. They're cool.
It is an odd-looking cover.
Yeah, and then The Fly.
See, that one's very Sugar Skull-looking, too.
Yeah, well, it was like a whole collection. They had Child's Play and a few others that I don't need to buy a third copy of Child's Play, but Mike Lombardo's getting my other copy of The Fly on Blu-ray. So then I found this, which I absolutely love.
Oh, that cover is very conservative but beautiful.
That's why I saw it and I was like, whoop, have to. And then the back. Ooh. And I'm just the only thing I'm disappointed with. I told Jared earlier was the inside would be cool if it was the floor. I think that would be cooler, but either way, it's the same release that the Cooper collection. But I love the Steelbook. I no longer have my Cooper collection. I got from Scream Team Releasing 1031.
Look at that, Brian. That is beautiful.
That reminds me of Creepshow.
Yeah. The art is done by our friend Nathan Thomas Milner.
Yeah.
And then one thing I had to point out earlier was Rocky Gray, the guy behind it, and he directed one of the segments. He signed it, but looks like a penis. Am I wrong? It looks like a penis. So thank you, Rocky, for the penis love. Okay, so I got Maximum Overdrive,
Oh my god, love that
Yeah.
movie.
I still haven't opened it yet, but I haven't watched it since the 80s. But I was at Walmart one day, and I was chatting with Mike Lombardo about Doomsday, and I was like, "Oh, they have Maximum Overdrive for 25," and he's like, get it now," and I'm like, "Eh." He's like, "You need to get it, or you're gonna regret it." So I got it, and I'll watch it eventually. Before I get to the best one, I also got the Creep Show Blu-ray.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it comes in a nice thick like Aero style case. It's pretty thick, nice spine to it, and then it's got there you go.
And that's Scream Factory, right?
Yep, Scream Factory. So it's kind of similar. It's like the I actually have the comic somewhere around the house. And
They're
it's
up
got
in
an,
their game with that box.
it's got another. It's got the original poster art also. So there's
They're
three
definitely
different.
up in their game with that box.
Do what?
The box cover, they're definitely upping
Yeah.
their game.
Well, I think because it comes with this book.
Oh, okay.
Making of stuff in it. So Mike is absolutely in love with this. I like it too. This is we're hoping Candyman gets the same treatment. Rumor has it Candyman is getting the same treatment. So, and now for the moment we've all been waiting for. Well, you guys have been waiting for me to get this movie anyway. I got fucking Boneyard.
Yeah.
It came yesterday. I told Mike it's been like hovering around $17 on and just so we can get a picture of me with the dog. Yeah, Mike's like, "Oh, it's not bad for $16," and it went down to $16. I was like, maybe I'll get it. And then I looked like 2 days ago, it was down to $11.98. I was like, oh, okay, now is the time to buy that movie because it's super cheap. So that's it. That's most of my stuff from October. I didn't just all get this in recently. Otherwise, you guys might think I'm rich or something, which I am, but not even close. Anyway, I didn't eat a few days, so
I got
my kids aren't eating.
What, Jared? Hold that up. Where'd you get that?
On eBay, I think.
Oh, okay.
Amazon, maybe.
Okay, I thought that was like the new release.
Oh no, it's the DVD release.
I'm surprised Screen Factory hasn't gotten a hold of it.
God, I love that movie. I love that and Stay Tuned. They were like my favorite movies.
I like Stay Tuned better, I think.
Yeah, Stay Tuned is way better.
Oh yeah, for sure. John Ritter is great in that fucking movie.
Yeah.
But Terry Garr looks wonderful in Mom and Dad Save the Earth.
In that outfit, yeah, she does.
Anyway, that was fun. I'd like to do mail call once in a while. We can remember to. Next week, we might actually be talking about this movie.
Yeah.
So if you haven't gotten it, Amazon has it, and it still may be $12. But get it because we're probably going to talk about it next week because Mike Lombardo just absolutely loves that movie. I don't get it. Hopefully, I will.
It's a wild ride.
You just have to watch it and find out because it is wild.
He went on the tour and where it was filmed.
It's odd. It's it's gory. It's funny. It's just all the things you love in a weird horror movie.
So The Boneyard is actually on Amazon right now for $11.96.
Goddamn.
On Blu-ray. So if you want to get a copy, now is the time. So that's all I can do for selling that movie I've never seen. Anyway, we got anything else, or we want to wrap it up?
I'm good to go.
I think Brian's ready to fall asleep, so let's wrap this shit up.
I have a guest out there too. So.
All right. Well, anyway. Thanks for joining us, everyone. My name is Brian Enright. You can follow me on Facebook at Brian Enright, or you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at TheHarju. Up next, we have Jared Letourneau. Jared, where can we find you?
You guys can follow me on Facebook at Jared Letourneau or on the Twatverse at zombie_survivor. Or if you wait till after midnight, you can call me at 1-900-THS Live. Sorry, I can't get that out of my head.
Really, Brian, we need to cut together a promo of me, you, and Jared looking all sexy just for the show. That'd be ridiculous.
I don't know why I keep doing that.
Hooray.
Call 1-800-976-EVIL.
Evil. No, 976 Evil 2. That
976 USA.
Don't dial 1-800-976 evil 3 because you'll just get Stephen Jeffrey porno clips.
Oh, Lord. You're so cool.
You're so cool, Brewster.
Yeah, what if he said that every time he came?
All right, thank you very much, Jared. Up next, President and Pure Razor. Ray, where can we find you?
Yeah, I'm really getting into the Instagram game, so just go to Razor33 at Instagram, and like I said, I'm on Snapchat, Razor_33. I play Xbox too. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Have a safe night as well. Yes.